Maria had always felt safe in her own home until tonight. The night had begun just like any other, with her settling into bed after a long day. But everything changed when Jason, her teenage nephew, appeared at the doorway. She thought she'd locked the door, but something didn't feel right. Maria stretched out on her bed, the cool sheets clinging to her bare skin. It had been a long, exhausting day, and finally, she could rest in the quiet solitude of her home. The sun dipped low outside, casting a warm glow through the window. Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. Each of your shares is not only a motivation for us, but also contributes to spreading value to the community. If you find this content useful, don't forget to watch the whole video, like, subscribe, and share with someone you think needs to hear this too. She exhaled slowly, letting herself relax. The creak of the floorboards nearby made her sit up. Her heart skipped a beat as she glanced toward the doorway. Jason, her teenage nephew, was standing there, his figure dimly lit by the hallway light. "Jason," she asked, her voice soft but laced with curiosity, "what are you doing up?" He shifted awkwardly, his gaze flickering to the side before quickly returning to hers. "I couldn't sleep. I was just getting some water." Maria furrowed her brows. "It's late. You should be asleep," she said softly, trying to brush it off. But Jason didn't move. Instead, he took a step closer, slow and deliberate. Maria's heart began to thud in her chest. His gaze didn't waver, and she instinctively tightened the blanket around her shoulders. "Jason," she asked again, her voice now cautious, "what are you doing?" He stopped just at the edge of her bed, his eyes searching hers, lingering for a moment too long. Maria shifted slightly, uncomfortable beneath his gaze. Then it happened. His gaze dropped briefly but unmistakably to her legs. A chill ran down Maria's spine. The realization hit her hard. He had seen her bare skin, her exposed thighs. He had caught sight of her, and now he was standing there, watching her. Her heart pounded harder, and her breath hitched in her throat. "Jason!" she snapped, her voice rising in disbelief. "What are you doing?" Jason's eyes darted away, his face flushing. "I didn't mean to," he mumbled. Before he could finish, Maria's voice hardened. "Get out," she commanded, pointing toward the door. "Now, go to your room." Jason's face went pale. Without another word, he turned and fled the room, his footsteps echoing down the hallway. Maria sat there in stunned silence, shaking. What just happened? She sat on the edge of her bed, still trembling from what had just occurred. Her heart was racing, and the silence of the room felt suffocating. She glanced toward the door, half expecting Jason to come back, but the house remained eerily quiet. Her mind replayed the moment over and over. Jason's presence, his gaze on her, and that brief, uncomfortable slip. She couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted, something had changed between them, something she couldn't ignore. As she rubbed her temples, trying to clear her mind, a sudden knock on the door startled her. "Mom?" came Jason's muffled voice from the other side. Maria's eyes widened, and she felt a wave of confusion and tension wash over her. "What do you want?" she asked cautiously. I'm sorry," Jason mumbled. "I didn't mean to. I didn't mean for it to happen like that." Maria's jaw tightened, her fingers clenched into fists. "Go to bed, Jason. I need some time alone." There was a pause on the other side of the door. Then Jason whispered, "Please, just let me in for a minute. I need to talk." Maria hesitated. Something about his voice, something desperate, made her uneasy. But against her better judgment, she sighed and unlocked the door. It creaked open slowly, and Jason stepped inside. He didn't meet her gaze immediately. Instead, his eyes darted to the floor, his posture stiff, almost awkward. Jason began, his voice shaking slightly. "I didn't know. I didn't mean for things to get weird. I'm sorry." Maria frowned. "Weird?" Her tone was sharp. "You think this is just weird?" Jason sighed. Running a hand through his hair, Jason looked at her. "Look, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. I wasn't trying to. I wasn't thinking." Maria took a step forward. "What were you thinking?" she asked, her voice cold. "You come into my room in the middle of the night and look at me like..." I wasn't looking on purpose. Jason interrupted quickly, his face flushed. He looked genuinely troubled. It just happened. Maria scoffed, crossing her arms. It just happened? Jason, you saw me. You saw me half-dressed like it didn't mean anything to you. Jason's eyes finally lifted to hers, and for the first time, she saw something beyond guilt in his expression. Something darker. I didn't mean to, but it's hard to forget, Jason muttered under his breath. Maria's breath caught in her throat. What did you just say? Her voice was a whisper now, barely audible. Jason hesitated, his jaw tightening. It's hard to forget what I saw. The air between them grew heavier, thick with unspoken thoughts, lingering guilt, and something far more unsettling. Maria could feel it building. Something wrong, something dangerous. You need to leave, she finally said, her voice sharp and firm. Go back to your room, Jason. We'll forget this ever happened. Jason's gaze dropped again. I can't. Maria's eyes narrowed. What did you say? I can't stop thinking about it, Jason whispered, almost to himself. About you? The air between them grew heavier, thick with unspoken thoughts, lingering guilt, and something far more unsettling. Maria's eyes narrowed, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and anger. You need to leave, she said, her voice sharp and firm. Go back to your room, Jason. We'll forget this ever happened. Jason's gaze dropped again. I can't. Maria's eyes narrowed. What did you say? I can't stop thinking about it, Jason whispered, almost to himself. About you? Maria's breath hitched. Stop it, just stop. She turned away, pacing toward the window, her fists clenched at her sides as she tried to shake off the suffocating feeling of vulnerability. This isn't right. None of this should have happened. Jason followed her, his footsteps soft but deliberate. I don't know why it feels like this, he admitted, his voice quieter now. But it does, and it's not something I can just forget. Maria spun around, her eyes flashing with frustration and confusion. You're my nephew. This isn't normal. This isn't something we just brush aside. Jason's expression darkened. It didn't start like this. It wasn't supposed to happen. Maria's heart was pounding harder now. The situation spiraled into something darker, something she couldn't control. What do you want from me? She whispered, her voice breaking. Jason took a step closer, his gaze intense, searching. I don't know. I feel something, Megan, and it won't go away. Maria's breathing quickened. Her mind raced to push away the mounting fear. This wasn't just a simple misunderstanding anymore. This was dangerous. You need help? She said firmly, taking a step back. You need to talk to someone. But Jason cut her off, his voice rising slightly. I don't need help. I just need you to understand. I need you to see it for what it is. Maria's eyes widened in shock. What it is? You're my nephew. This is twisted. You don't get to decide this. It's wrong. Jason's face contorted, his jaw tightening. It feels real to me. I didn't ask for it to be this way. I just feel something. Maria's voice trembled with anger. You need to stop this right now. This isn't a game. Jason's eyes locked on hers. Something dangerous in them. Something primal. She couldn't ignore it. I can't. His tone was softer now, but no less firm. Maria's hands trembled at her sides. She felt like she was losing control. You don't have a choice. You can stop. Jason stepped forward, his gaze unwavering. I'm sorry, but I don't know if I can. Maria's chest tightened. She took a step back, instinctively bumping into the edge of her bed. Her pulse throbbed violently as she felt trapped, exposed, not just physically, but mentally. Get out, she whispered. Get out before I... But before she could finish, Jason's voice cut through the tension. We're connected now. There's no going back. The room spun around Maria, her breathing becoming ragged, panic bubbling beneath the surface. She had to get away. She had to stop this from going any further. You're my nephew, she snapped, shaking her head in disbelief. You can't mean what you're saying. Jason softened, but it didn't waver. I do, and I don't know what to do with it anymore. Maria sat motionless on the edge of her bed, her mind racing. The weight of Jason's words hung in the air, suffocating her thoughts and fears alike. She felt like she was trapped in a nightmare, one she couldn't seem to wake up from. Her chest tightened, and she ran her hands through her hair, trying to steady her breathing. She knew this wasn't just a misunderstanding. It was something darker, something that threatened to unravel everything she held dear. Maria had once believed her phone buzzed on the nightstand, pulling her attention. A message from her best friend, Sarah, popped up. "Sarah, hey, hope you're doing okay. We need to talk soon. Call me when you can." Maria stared at the screen, unable to focus on the words. Her fingers hovered over the keys, but she couldn't respond. The only thing on her mind was Jason, his eyes, his confession, his touch. How did things get this far? The memory of their interaction replayed in her mind like a broken record, each detail more vivid than the last. The way he looked at her, the way his hand trembled, those weren't mistakes. It was real, and it had happened, because it couldn't be undone. Her thoughts spiraled as she realized something more chilling. It wasn't just a momentary lapse. Jason had been watching her, studying her longer than she'd realized. Now, she was forced to confront a truth she had buried deep inside. This wasn't something she could brush off. It wasn't just a fleeting attraction. It was something deeper, something dangerous. As Maria's mind began to whirl, she caught a glimpse of movement from the corner of her eye. Jason was standing in the doorway once again, his expression unreadable, but there was something calculated in his gaze this time, something unsettling. "You shouldn't have come in here," Jason muttered, breaking the silence. Maria looked up sharply, her eyes narrowing. "No, you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have said what you did. You shouldn't have." "I didn't mean for it to happen like this," Jason said quickly, interrupting her. "I'm sorry I can't control it." Maria's fist clenched tightly in her lap. "This isn't something you just can't control, Jason. This is wrong." Jason's jaw tightened, his eyes darkening. "It didn't feel wrong at first. It felt right. You made me feel something I've never felt before." Maria recoiled, her stomach twisting in disgust. "That's not an excuse. You're my family, my nephew. I know what it looks like," Jason said softly, his voice almost a whisper. "But I can't help how I feel. I've never felt this way about anyone before." Maria's breathing quickened. She felt a mixture of fury and fear bubbling inside her. "We can't do this. We can't keep pretending like this isn't happening." Jason took a step closer, his gaze never leaving hers. "But we can't pretend it isn't there either." Maria stood abruptly, her eyes flashing. "We have to pretend. You need to walk away from this. Forget what you think you feel." Jason's lips curled into a faint, bitter smile. "It's not that easy." Maria's heart pounded harder. "It has to be that easy. I won't let this ruin everything. I won't." Jason's expression darkened further, his voice lowering. "You can't stop it. Not now." Maria's fists clenched tighter. "I'm your aunt. I raised you. How could you let this happen?" Jason's eyes glimmered with something dangerous, something she hadn't seen before. "It wasn't just me. It was you too." Maria staggered back, her body trembling. The words hit her like a blow, ripping through her every defense. "I didn't mean for it to go this far." Jason's voice trailed off, but the damage had already been done. The tension between Maria and Jason hung heavily in the air, suffocating every sound and movement. Maria paced back and forth, her mind racing, trying to make sense of what had just been said, what had just happened. Her breaths were shallow, and her heart pounded in her chest. How had things spiraled so far out of control? How had she let him get this close? Jason, on the other hand, stood silently, watching her every move with quiet intensity. His expression was unreadable, but Maria could see the internal struggle behind his eyes, as if he knew deep down that what they had done could never be undone. Finally, she stopped in her tracks, spinning to face him. Her voice came out cold, sharp. "You can't keep doing this, Jason. You can't." Jason's gaze didn't waver, though his jaw tightened. "It's not something I can just turn off." Maria's eyes narrowed. "This isn't something you should feel. This isn't right." This is wrong. I know, Jason said softly, his voice barely above a whisper. But it doesn't change how I feel. Maria's chest tightened as tears pricked the corners of her eyes. This isn't something that should exist between us. You're my family. I raised you. How can you let yourself feel this way? Jason's expression darkened, his lips pressing into a thin line. I didn't plan for it to happen, but it did. And now I can't ignore it. You don't have to keep feeling this way. Maria's voice rose slightly, desperation and anger mixing. You need to walk away from this before it destroys both of us. Jason stepped closer, his eyes locked onto hers. I can't just walk away. Not from you. Maria staggered back, the room spinning slightly as her mind fought to comprehend his words. You have to. You must. I won't let you ruin everything. Our family, our lives. This isn't just about feelings anymore, Jason. This is dangerous. Jason's eyes softened momentarily, but there was a vulnerability in his expression, one that gave Maria pause. You're scared. I get that. I didn't mean for this to happen. But now that it's out, we can't pretend it didn't. No, Maria said firmly, shaking her head. We must pretend. We have to. Jason hardened once again. It's too late. I can't pretend it didn't happen. Every time I see you, every time we're alone together, I feel it. I feel something between us, and it's not going away. Maria felt her body go rigid, a wave of cold fear washing over her. You're my nephew. This can't keep going. Jason's voice lowered, his tone dark and quiet. It can't stop now. I've already crossed a line. I can't erase it. Maria's chest heaved as the words sank in, each one heavier than the last. Her breathing became erratic. Her mind screamed for a way out, but there was none. She couldn't escape what had already begun, and she knew deep down that Jason wouldn't stop. He couldn't, not now. The days that followed were filled with an unspoken tension, thick like a suffocating fog between Maria and Jason. They moved through their daily routines, avoiding prolonged eye contact and speaking only when absolutely necessary. Yet despite their best efforts, the tension never seemed to ease. Each glance, each passing moment between them, pulled them closer toward the inevitable. One evening, as Maria sat alone in the living room, scrolling aimlessly through her phone, Jason quietly entered the room. His footsteps were measured, almost cautious, and Maria didn't lift her eyes from the screen, though she could feel his presence. His presence. It was as though her body instinctively knew when he was near. Finally, Jason spoke, his voice soft but strained. We need to talk. Maria, placing the phone down on the coffee table, crossed her arms and gazed steadily as she turned to face him. We've already talked enough, Jason. No, he insisted, stepping closer. We haven't really said what needs to be said. Maria's heart pounded in her chest. She could already feel the trap closing in. What is there left to say, Jason? This shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't even be possible. Jason stopped right in front of her, his expression filled with a quiet intensity. It doesn't matter what should or shouldn't be. What matters is that it's happening, and we can't ignore it anymore. Maria's jaw tightened, her fingers twitching at her sides. But it can be ignored. We have to ignore it. It's the only way to protect everything we have, our family, our peace. Jason's eyes softened, his voice nearly breaking. But it feels real. It is real. Maria shook her head, her voice wavering. No, it can't be. We're not supposed to feel this. It's not meant to be. Sometimes, Jason whispered, things don't follow rules. Sometimes they break them. And maybe, just maybe, this, what we feel was never meant to be. The weight of his words hung between them, heavy and unrelenting. Maria felt her breath catch in her throat. Unable to look away from him, Jason murmured her name, her voice trembling. We can't. But Jason reached out slowly, his hand brushing against hers. His touch was gentle but firm. We already have. Maria's breath hitched, her body trembling beneath his touch. For a moment, she let herself feel a forbidden spark that still burned between them. The undeniable pull, the yearning, but it hit her like a splash of ice water. She yanked her hand away, stepping back quickly. This isn't just about us anymore. It's bigger than that. If someone finds out, if they know, I'll do whatever it takes to keep it from coming out, Jason said, his voice low but firm. I'm not going to let us be torn apart. Not by anyone. Maria's heart hammered against her ribs, each beat a painful reminder of the turmoil swirling inside her. Fear tangled with a burning ache of longing, and no matter how she tried to steady herself, she could feel the weight of something inevitable pressing down on her. Her voice trembled as she spoke, the words slipping from her lips like an unraveling thread. You don't get it, Jason, she said, her chest tightening with the intensity of what she was trying to explain. We can't control this. We never could. It's already out of our hands. The moment we cross this line, we set everything on a course that I don't think we can stop. No matter how hard we try. It's like we're on a collision course, and I don't know if there's any way to avoid it anymore. Jason's eyes never left her, his expression softening, the vulnerability in his gaze almost palpable. He took another step toward her, closing the gap between them. But his voice, though full of raw emotion, carried a sense of quiet resolve. Maybe we're meant to face it together, he suggested, his words hanging in the air, fragile and uncertain. He reached out, as though wanting to bridge the space between them, to offer something, anything, that could make this moment feel less impossible. Maria felt a tightness in her throat as she fought to hold back the tears that threatened to spill over. Her fingers curled into fists, her nails digging into her palms as she shook her head slowly, disbelieving, unable to reconcile his optimism with the cold reality crashing down around them. It doesn't matter what we're meant to do, she whispered, the words almost lost in the weight of her grief. What matters is what's right. And this isn't right, Jason. We can't pretend that it is, no matter how badly we want it to be. Jason stepped closer still, his face a mixture of desperation and hope, his voice now breaking with the rawness of everything he was feeling. We can make it right, he pleaded, his words carrying the weight of 1,000 unspoken promises. Please, Maria, we can find a way. Together, we can figure it out. No, Maria snapped, the sharpness in her voice betraying the storm of emotions swirling beneath the surface. Her chest tightened, the words falling from her lips with an intensity that made her feel like she was fighting against something much bigger than herself. We can't and we won't. I won't let us go down that path, Jason. I can't. I won't let this consume us. Not like this. The words seemed to hang in the air between them, heavy with finality. Jason's posture faltered slightly, the weight of her refusal settling on his shoulders like an invisible burden. A flicker of defeat passed across his face, so quick it was almost imperceptible, but Maria saw it. She saw how it tore at him, how it broke something in him. It was a look she knew well, one that mirrored her own inner turmoil, a reflection of the helplessness they both felt but couldn't admit. He opened his mouth, but the words caught in his throat, and after a long, strained silence, he exhaled softly, his voice tinged with resignation. Then what happens now? His voice was quiet, almost too soft to hear. He took a step back, as though putting distance between them was somehow the only thing left to do. If we keep ignoring it, if we pretend it's not there, if we try to move on, what happens to us? What do we become, Maria? Maria's throat tightened as she met his gaze, the raw pain in his eyes almost enough to make her falter. She fought against it, gritting her teeth, willing herself to stay firm in her decision. She had to be strong, for both of them, even if it felt like she was shattering with every word she spoke. Taking a deep breath, Maria closed her eyes for a moment, summoning every ounce of willpower to steady herself. The air around them seemed to grow heavier, charged with unspoken things, with the gravity of a choice neither of them had ever imagined they'd have to make. She opened her eyes slowly, her gaze unwavering as she finally spoke, her voice quieter now, but no less resolute. We move forward, she said, each word weighted with a cold finality. We pretend it never happened. We pretend that none of this, none of you, ever happened. We bury it, Jason. We bury it deep inside, where it can never reach us again. The silence between them stretched longer, thick with the implications of what she just said. Maria could feel her heart breaking piece by piece, but she didn't give in. She couldn't. Jason's gaze dropped to the ground, his jaw clenched tightly, as if trying to hold back everything that was threatening to overflow. She saw the muscles in his neck tense, the way his fists curled at his sides, as though he were fighting the urge to say something, anything, that might change the unbearable weight of her decision. But she had made her choice. And now, there was nothing left but to move forward, even if it meant leaving the pieces of themselves they'd once been in the past. But it's not that simple. Jason's voice cracked slightly, the desperation evident in every syllable. He stepped forward, his feet hesitant, like he was about to cross an invisible line. His eyes searched hers, pleading for a reason to hold on, to find a way through the impossible. Maria closed her eyes for a brief moment, a flood of emotions threatening to spill over. She wanted so badly to believe him, to think that somehow, despite everything, they could make it work. But the weight of everything they'd been through, everything they'd sacrificed, was too much. It had already taken its toll on her, on them both, and she knew there was no turning back. She inhaled shakily, steadying herself before responding. "No," she whispered softly, her voice barely audible. "It never was." Her words hung heavy in the air, cutting through the space between them like a blade. It wasn't a rejection of him, not entirely, but resignation to the truth she couldn't avoid any longer. With one last glance over her shoulder, Maria turned away, her movements deliberate, as though each step she took was one away from something that once felt like home. She walked toward the door, the sound of her footsteps echoing in the otherwise silent room. Each step felt like a final goodbye, a closure she couldn't avoid, no matter how much it broke her. Jason stood frozen in place, his face a mask of disbelief, his chest tight with the weight of her departure. She was walking away, and with every inch of distance that grew between them, a part of him seemed to shatter. He opened his mouth to speak, to beg, but no words came. He was paralyzed, trapped in the gravity of her decision, unable to stop her, unable to reach her before she disappeared entirely. The door clicked softly as it closed behind her, and the room fell into an eerie quiet. The kind of silence that follows a storm, a moment after the last thunderclap, when all that remains is a lingering tension, the unanswered questions, the pain that still hangs in the air. Maria paused just beyond the door, her hand resting against the cold wood. Her heart ached, a raw and jagged ache that twisted deep the more she thought about him standing there, lost and broken. She knew this wasn't the end, no matter how final it seemed, no matter how much she wished it could be. This was just the beginning of something much darker, a war that would be fought not with weapons, but with every glance, every silence, every choice they made from now on. It would be a war of attrition, fought in the quiet spaces between them, the places where words couldn't reach. A war of willpower, of pride, of raw emotion that would tear them apart even as it threatened to pull them back together. And Maria knew, with a certainty that chilled her to bone, that there would be no winners in this fight, only casualties. And in the end, the question was not if they would survive, but who they would become once it was all over. As she stood there, feeling the weight of everything pressing in on her, she couldn't shake the question that lingered in her mind. Would Jason give up? Would he walk away, retreat into the quiet, accepting the loss of something that had meant everything? Or would he fight for what they had, for what they could have, no matter the cost? Could he find a way to break through the walls she had built? Or would the space between them grow wider, colder, until nothing remained but the ghosts of what could have been? What do you think happens next? Will Jason walk away and surrender to the weight of her decision? Or will he find a way to fight for them, even if it means risking everything he holds dear? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for staying with us. If you find it interesting and useful, please subscribe, like, and share so you don't miss the next video. Thanks.